Today I sit down with Eddie Alvarez, the UFC lightweight champion, to talk about how he created a vision so big, so unique, and so specific that nothing was going to stop him from making it a reality. And the biggest takeaway is, roll that intro. All right, so for the first time ever, Trent Friends is not filmed in front of a live studio audience, but in a blood-soaked, bare-knuckle facility, ring, with the underground king, Eddie Alvarez. Eddie Alvarez, thank you so much for doing this. This is very cool.
Welcome to my arena.
Yes, I thought it was like sweat.
Yeah, you said, hey, can we do the podcast where you're really comfortable? And I said, yeah. Well, let's go in our bare-knuckle ring.
Nut job there. Okay, so first of all, it's rare that I get to like be a fanboy over a guest because I grew up watching you.
Hell yeah.
And you are, in addition to being obviously a world champion fighter, you are also just one of the nicest people you ever met.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
And you didn't grow up you grew up in some hard circumstances.
Yeah, I grew up in a rough area. I grew up in North Philadelphia. It's a place called Kensington. We're actually like the laughing stock of the internet. But
what's the laughing stock of, what is that?
Kensington's just like a place, it's drug ridden today. When I was a kid, it was good. And then
Middle class?
It was middle class, yeah. And then it got overtaken by drugs. So like, it's like the best, it's known for being the best heroin and trank and all that stuff on earth. So like it lost its soul somewhere in like the 2000s and like it became known as the Badlands. So if you look at Kensington, it's called the Badlands, and it's a rough area. Just, I guess they're called Kenzos. If you're from Kensington, you're named. People call you a Kenzo.
Okay. And
if you look up the term Kenzo on the internet, it's like someone without etiquette, someone without. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, it's rough.
But your guy, what's his Leonardo?
Leandro.
Yep. Leandro said that's where Rocky was based off of.
The Rocky was filmed in my neighborhood. Like he ran through the streets of my neighborhood. I grew up watching it, of course, but the neighborhood ended up, because it's a rough place, the whole culture is based on fighting. Like in the streets, for people for fun, they slap box, or you bring boxing gloves out in the street and box each other. Like you're more likely to see that than like a baseball game or a hockey game. You're more likely to see two people messing around, slap boxing or fighting each other than you are. Like fighting is the entire culture of Kensington. So I grew up in that, and I grew up in just like a local gym, like everyone, like a local boxing gym.
You started when you were?
I started boxing just like kind of for fun, getting off the streets in 5th grade. I think I weighed like 85 pounds. I think I might have been like
Now,
10.
Let me ask you this. You could do boxing. Like boxing seems like a nice sport. How do you get to bare knuckle boxing? Because I feel like that's like one is like I'm an athlete, and the other one's like I want pain.
Yeah, I think once you get in the world of violence, you just want to one-up yourself. And then I found myself one-upping myself. So in my 40s, I decided to try bare knuckle boxing. Look, I'm pretty much done. I don't know what the next level of that is. Might be just fighting with weapons or something. So I'm like, I think I've had enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because your face doesn't look so...
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been through a rough road. Had a lot of wars, a lot of fights, and I enjoyed myself. I think people meet me and they're like, "Oh, you're a nice guy," or you have a lot of humility or whatever. And I said, "You don't know how much violence and war I had to be in order to become this peaceful." So I think
I believe that
when you go that deep into violence, you know that all you really want is peace. Because it can get bad.
Yeah. Friends, real quick, if you own a home service or trades business, I want to do something special for you that I've never done before. My goal is to help you make at least $10,000, save at least $10,000, or find additional opportunities in your business that will give you substantially more. But this offer isn't just for business owners who are struggling. This offer is for anyone who wants to take their business to the next level. Click the link below and get started. Now, back to the episode. One of the overlaps for business owners is like, here, this is a simulated violence, right? Nobody is actually at risk, more or less, in your gym, right?
Yeah.
You're learning. And most people in business, they they don't want to lose and they don't want to feel like they're losing. But here, losing is a part of the process of winning. Can you talk about that overlap?
Yeah, and I have 4 children, and I think I have more conversations with my children about losing than I do winning, because I think the majority of people quit because of the way losing is viewed, and I think champions view losing as it being part of the process, not the end of the process. And I deal with it on such a regular occasion. If you're a martial artist and you're really challenging yourself, you are committed to losing every day. It's a possibility every single day. So you have to learn humility. You have to learn resilience. You got to learn how to stay positive in the light of maybe not having great results. There's a lot of really good things in martial arts that don't just grow you as a martial artist, but grow you as a human being or a business entrepreneur, you name it. But I think losing was essential to me, and it's not important to lose, but it's important to learn how to deal with it and how to put it into perspective. I think some people just have the wrong perspective, or they let their friends and the family choose the perspective they're going to move forward with in it. I think it's, I get excited about it. I get excited about it because I know there's room for growth.
So what is the right way to look at a loss? I mean, you've lost, I think, 4 times. Is that right? Yeah,
during my career, total, throughout my MMA career, the last 22 years, I have 8 losses, 31 wins and 8 losses, I believe, over the course of my career. Most of them coming later on in my career. In my prime, I didn't lose very much. But
so how do you take a loss?
I think the very first time I took a loss, I had a lot of trouble with it because I didn't sincerely think I could lose at a fight. In my mind and the way I envisioned myself, I didn't think anybody could beat me in a fight. So when I lost my first fight, it was devastating. I went home. I actually did consider just being like, hey, maybe this isn't for you. If you're not the guy you thought you were, like the best fighter in the world or the guy who can't be beaten, maybe you should just like pack it up, get a job and be done. I'm a really bad critic of myself. So like I went that route in the beginning because I was a young kid. Then I started reading through it a little bit, reading past it, and I was like, I never defined myself off one win. I never won once and said, I'm unbeatable. No one in the world can beat me. So I'm not going to define myself off one loss. And the loss ended up being part of my process. You know what I mean? I think losing is essential. And I think in every room you go in, most rooms I go in, and someone says, that's the guy, he's most successful. Whether it's martial arts, any sport, business, entrepreneur, my immediate brain goes to, okay, that guy lost more than anyone in this room. And when you look at it that way, you just know every time I lose, I'm just a little bit closer to winning, because every guy I ever met who won at a big level, they've lost more than everyone.
Right.
They just never let it define them, and it never stopped. That was the only formula was, I just learned how to get a little bit better. I learned how to win.
So when you have a business owner that's like, you look at guys like Lance Bachman, Chris Lee, and Tommy Mello, and these titans of the trades industry, and they want to be
the biggest losers I know.
So that's
right. Biggest losers I know. These guys, and therefore they win.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They never let it define them.
So one of the limiting factors for those business owners who look at those people and idolize them is they're like, I started it, I listened to their podcasts, I read their books, I'm doing it, but I'm not successful like them. They're in the stage where it takes a lot of jet fuel to even get from 0 to 1.
Yeah.
During that period of time, a lot of people quit.
Yep.
So has there been a time in your life where you were at that point, or you've coached somebody at that point, 0 to 1, where you're just ramping up and you're saying like, don't quit, but they think like, dude, I suck at this?
Absolutely. And I think some people should quit, because I don't think it's forced. I think it's for a unique set of people. And I think it's, depending on what it is you do, you better absolutely be obsessed with it and love it and be willing to do it for free. Because more than likely at the highest level, you're going to do something for free for a long time. And I think that's like the Lord's way of testing you and letting, and like being like, do you really want to do this? Because I'm going to put you in some really bad spots. Ones that would be very easy for you to convince yourself to quit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sell this quitting thing to you pretty hard before you sell it back to me and let me know why you're going to not give up.
That's interesting.
And I've been in on my hands and knees. And sometimes the only thing I had left was my hope and my faith. I had nothing else left. It would have been really easy for me to be like, bro, this is it. That there's no reason why I should continue doing this.
Just the hope and faith.
Just the only thing I had left. I had to rely on my foundation of faith and have hope and believe, like kind of believe in myself that things will work out.
One of the things that we teach is like the world is like a big simulated reality, like a video game, and that you're a player in the game, and that the game rewards you when you do really hard things and tests you. And that's the only way, like in a video game, if you grew up playing video games, that you like evolve as a character, collect new skills when you have to go through a challenge. You have to lose in order to get those skills.
Yeah.
So when you're on your hands and knees and you're here and it's, you're in a fight and you're like an hour in, 30 minutes in, you're exhausted. What is the spark that says, no, I'm still going to keep fighting even though the odds are against me?
I just think a big part of fighting for me was learning how to separate myself from my emotions. And I think in martial arts, at the highest level, at the peak, the guys at the highest level, they know how to separate how they feel from how they behave. And,
walk us through that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So as a father and as a husband, I realized early in my career, in order for me to excel in this career of fighting, that I had to do that. But I knew that was not going to make me a good father and husband. But my wife wanted this and I wanted this, and we knew what needed to be done. So like there were points where like you wake up in the morning, right in the morning, you don't want to wake up and start doing workouts.
No.
So if in the morning, the first decision you make, you have to separate yourself from your feelings and do your duty, right? Like, doesn't matter how you feel. Get up, this is what you said you were going to do, and get it done. And then, boom, your next meal comes around. Hey, well, maybe I want some this. Doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter what you want. You have to do this. So it was me separating everything I wanted and my initial feelings and saying, what's the right thing to do and what aligns with my goals? And that's my roadmap. That's my path to where I want to get. How I felt about it didn't mean a lick about any of it. So I really quickly realized I needed to just get rid of making that connection between how I feel and how I behave.
Okay, so you lived a very regimented life on the one side.
Duper regimented.
But then you get these guys that are like, hey, I want a good work-life balance.
Don't exist.
Okay, so talk about the regimented side before we get to work-life balance.
Yeah.
What does a regimented life look like? Like when you were in your prime, what did you sacrifice and what did you have to do?
Yeah, so in my prime in my career, there was no balance. It was most of my days where I woke up, I had my first workout by like 7:38. I got something to eat. I got some good rest. I was back again in the gym for like a 2-3 o'clock boxing session. Ate again, and then I was back again normally at night for jiu-jitsu. Martial arts requires you to be good at everything. Right. So if you're not early on putting in the fundamental and the hours early on, your foundation is going to be poor. So like I practiced everything. Every waking hour that I wasn't doing concrete work, came from the concrete trades, I was spending on my dream, which was fighting. And I had no friends. I never have friends in between. I have time for friends. I'm actually not a good friend because I know I don't have time for it. Yeah. So like, and I wasn't a great, I want to say, when I had time for my kids, I'm a great father, but I didn't have the time for my wife the way a normal guy with a work-life balance would. I didn't have time for my wife and children.
So why does your wife, like, if that's the case, is your wife like, hey, Eddie, come on, dude, we're married. What's going on? Or is she like, I support your dreams 100% at this time?
Right from the gate, number one, my wife trusted me. All my wife ever wanted was a family. That's all she wanted. My wife didn't have aspirations to be a career woman or want some. She wanted a family and wanted to take care of children. And luckily for me, that required her believe in me. So she believed in me and had undying faith that I'd get it done. So she let me fly. She said, "Go ahead. I believe in this vision that you have, and do it wholeheartedly." So she gave me the luxury of being able to attack this thing full on without being a wanting wife saying me,
Yeah.
I want this, I want that.
Yeah.
So it was a gift. It was a gift from God that I got really early in my life.
That's the partner of a good wife.
It's incredible.
No
And
benefit of a good wife.
yeah, and it's really rare. I realize how rare it is now that I'm older, and how lucky I was when I was younger that I had someone that understanding. We're just a really good team. She wanted a family, and she knew, hey, if I can trust him that he gets us here, then I can take care of my kids, and we can both live out our dreams.
And at this time, were you like selling the vision? Were you like, what's your wife's name?
Jamie.
Jamie. Were you like, Jamie, I'm going to be a world champ. You're going to see. I just need, or were you like,
I said it all.
you said it all.
Oh,
You
yeah.
sold the vision.
I believed it.
You believed
I
it.
believed it so hard. Believe me, there was times where I'm like, "Do you really think this is gonna happen?" But I had to, I had to. And when a woman kind of also believes it, oh my God, is that a super? You'll move mountains. As a man, especially when you have kids, this primal thing kicks in.
Yeah.
As a man, you're like, I'm gonna figure this out because now I have people relying on me, and I have a woman trusting in me.
Yes.
So that helped me move mountains, and gave me kind of the freeway to just be ruthless in my approach to be successful.
So for the entrepreneur that's watching this, the trades, obviously we're HVAC, plumbing, electric, roofing specific here. Those guys say, I want to be rich and successful. I want to have a business like Chris and Tommy and Lance, but I'm not willing to put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a rare person that can do this. Like, don't be surprised if you're not the guy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, very few are. Like, if you're the guy, you ought to be more surprised. Like, holy shit, I'm the guy to follow this through.
Yeah.
You're probably not. There's a more of likelihood that you're not.
Sure.
And that you're not willing to sacrifice and put things in. It's a rare person. And then even more, it's rare that you find the partner, the woman, who is the one that's selfless enough to kind of let you fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a really hard thing to navigate. It's more common that you'll fail, whether it's because of you or the woman.
Yeah.
And it's very uncommon. So like, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade.
That's okay.
But it takes a lot, and you have to be ruthless in your approach, and you have to create the vision and sell it to your wife so good that she doesn't want to live in a reality that's anything other than that.
I think that's one of the hardest parts for business owners, is that they cannot paint. They want something, but they can't paint the vision for the people, their operators that are following them. They just think it's a job.
Yeah, and if you look, sales is everything, right? And if you can't continually sell that and make that vision clear to the people who are around you, your wife, your employees, then like, if you don't believe it, why should I?
Yeah.
I tell my fighters this. When we feint at people, when I throw a feint at you, but it's a half-hearted feint, the guy looks at me like, and I'm like, you didn't even believe what you were going to do. Why should I?
Yeah.
So like, when you feint with your entire body. You feint as if you're going to do it, and then you sell it perfectly. So whenever you're selling anything, whether it's a dream, a vision, or whatever, you have to do it wholeheartedly. You have to really put your time in, your effort in. And I mean, first and foremost, you have to believe it. And if you don't expect anybody else to buy into that thing.
When you were like about to fight, or you were preparing for a fight, did you ever do like visualizations of
Absolutely.
Okay. Can you walk us through what that looked like? That's a very interesting thing for business owners.
Yeah. So, I mean, I read early. I used to read Tony Robbins a lot.
Yeah.
I read on Tony Robbins.
Who's Tony Robbins? Did he ever fight in the UFC?
Yeah. Specifically, he had a chapter in one of his first books and about NLP, neuro linguistic programming, and it was the idea that you can have a thought and change that thought into
reality.
It actually have it manifest itself. The thought becomes the behavior becomes the habit, and the habit becomes your reality. So I've read about like NLP and how to sort of manifest things, and just a thought about something, if you do it a lot, the brain doesn't know the difference between that and reality. So if you envision something enough, it can actually become real to you, and you'll behave in a manner that will get you it. So I highly believe in that. And a lot of my practice, not just in here, but outside the ring, is visualization. I think my biggest weapon is that I have an incredible imagination. And then I'm willing to follow it and actually like behave in a way as if it can happen.
Do you think that, so if I'm listening to this or watching this and I'm like, okay, I want to create the vision, I want to be $100 million company, what is the first step in creating that vision? Like what action should I do? Is this journaling? Is it a lucid dreaming?
I did, I'm going to be honest, I clipped out, I had a vision board.
You did?
I had a board, and it was
like in the movies.
Sounds corny.
Yeah.
And we didn't have like today, what I think there's Etsy or Pinterest. Yeah. You can actually create this digitally. I legitimately went out and bought a piece of poster board, bought a bunch of magazines, and I said, all right, Ed, how do you want your life to look if you can have everything exactly the way you want it? I started clipping it out, gluing it. I'd like to be top 5 in the world. I didn't even put number 1 in the world because I didn't think that was believable at that time for me. So I'd like to be top 5 in the world. I'd like to make $1 million for a fight at some point in my life. I like to get like $1 million check when I went to go fight. My house, I had a house on there, a house that I would like, the bathrooms, the kitchens, the way I would like them. I literally made my vision as clear as I could. I put it up for myself, and it just kind of gave my brain a way of saying, oh, that would be nice. And I think what happens when you do that, and I just talked about this on another podcast, when you get so deep in your imagination and it becomes real to you, when you have a great imagination, you get really uneasy about your reality. And I think people lack vision and lack imagination, and they become complacent and okay with their reality. And I think if you really want to light yourself on fire, right? Number 1, be around people who are living in a big way, because that's a reality, right? But number 2, create a vision for yourself. Use your imagination like you were a kid again. I got to a point where my imagination and vision was so awesome that my reality was, I was so uneasy about the way I was living. And it lit a fire under me, an absolute fire that I will not be complacent or be okay with the way I'm living right now. Because if I don't get what I know I have up here, then it would be a sin. You know, I get, the best way I can describe it is like when you have a dream and everything's awesome, and then you wake up and it's just you're in the same life you were in.
Yeah,
that's the reverse of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like down and out because you're like, damn, I'm not a millionaire. You know, it's like.
So at the time that you have this vision board, you weren't Eddie Alvarez Underground King.
No.
In real life, but in your mind, you were.
In my mind, absolutely. That I started following other greats. George St. Pierre was great at the time. I started reading about other people who were great, how they behaved, what they did. And I was big time in reading Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins was a big point in my life at that point.
Have you ever met Tony Robbins?
I went to one of his, I never met him face to face. I went to one of his, I don't know what they're called, here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Went to one of them.
workshops.
Workshops, yeah.
All right, Tony Robbins, you watch this. Get in touch with Eddie.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I've never heard that your imagination should be so amazing that your reality seems gray. I think that's really unique.
Yeah, I think if you really want to get your emotions involved and light a fire under yourself, maybe it's not anything other than lack of imagination. Maybe.
So when that is challenged, when that reality is challenged, you're doing well in life, things are going good, and you have a loss that really affected you, maybe the first loss. Mm-hmm. How do you look at your vision board and say, I still want that even though this is the reality that happened to me?
Yeah. What dealing with the loss that's in front of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting is once you get over that first loss, you start to realize that how powerful you are, how resilient you are, and you start to learn things about yourself that you never knew, like how strong you can be and how resilient you can be and how much courage you do have and how much risk you can take. When you start learning things about yourself and you grow that confidence, it just makes that journey even easier. It makes the losses not as bad.
Sure.
Because if I just wait and breathe through this, around the corner's another win coming. And what it did was it was like a domino effect. Once I lost at a big stage and I got over it, what I did was it allowed me to assume more risk. Yeah. Which means eventually I'm going to be able to grow and grow and grow even bigger. Yeah. Because one of the biggest things why people don't grow at all is because they don't want to assume any risk. They're like, if I don't assume any risk, I can't fail. Yeah. I'm like, well, you can't win either. Right. You can't win a thing if you don't assume any. But as you go through this process, if you're really paying attention, you realize, holy, I'll take on more risk. Yeah. I'll take on more. I'll take on more what? What can happen? I can lose. Yeah. No big deal. That's part of it. So it allowed me to take on, and for me, taking on more risk meant I'll be more courageous and take on bigger and better opponents.
Friends, real quick, if you own a home service or trades business, I want to do something special for you that I've never done before. I want to personally coach you for the next 4 weeks for free. No credit card required, no contract. Not only will I be your personal coach for a month, but I'll also do an extensive financial audit of your P&L to find the metrics that will change the trajectory of your company. You'll also get access to Next Level Pros community, giving you 4 weeks of live community calls and our course access going over marketing, sales, operations, recruiting, and more. Again, this is completely free, and you don't even need a credit card to sign up. My goal is to help you make at least $10,000, save at least $10,000, or find additional opportunities in your business that will give you substantially more. But this offer isn't just for business owners who are struggling. This offer is for anyone who wants to take their business to the next level. Click the link below and get started. Now, back to the episode. Last week, we had a great mastermind, and we talked about this poet named T.S. Eliot, who wrote a poem called The Hollow Men. And The Hollow Men is about these people they're not good and they're not bad. They're just going through the motions. Mm-hmm. They're full of stuff and empty at the same exact time. Like, just imagine like middle managers. And the last line is really powerful. The last line is, "This is how the world ends, not with a bang, but a whimper." And part of that narrative is you think that you're going to lose in some big fashion and that's it. Like, the world's going to end with a bang, but really it ends with 1,000 small mistakes that you could have corrected, the whimper. And to your point, you didn't lose. In one setting, you could have been like, I lost with a bang. I lost everything. But really, if you never got back on it, that's the real loss. Yeah. The little steps to get back to winning. And just not with a bang, but a whimper.
That's awesome. I want to read that now.
Yeah, it's a great poem. It's a great poem. Okay, so now you win one time. What was like your first win? The first win that like made an impact on your identity. Like, sweetheart, that vision board's coming true.
Yeah. I think I think when I went to Japan, I represented America. I think I right around 2006, 2007. Yeah, 2006, 2007. I won some regional titles, and I started traveling internationally, like maybe like Canada, Russia, Costa Rica. Started kind of moving around, making like bigger checks, but nothing massive. And I got a call from my agent one day, and it was like, hey, within 3 weeks, you got invited to one of, at the time, was the most prestigious tournament in the sport. It was the Dream Lightweight Grand Prix, and it was the best lightweights in the world all get an invite from all different parts of the world to this one tournament in Japan to fight each other.
Yeah.
Literally got a freaking letter in the mail like, hey, you're here to represent America.
Wow.
In Japan at the Tokyo Dome, I already say Thomas Super Arena, one of them, on this date. And everybody in this tournament were my heroes. They were veterans of the sport. They were older than I was. And one of them got hurt, and my agent got me in because one of them got injured.
Yeah.
And so I got lucky. But in the same sense of getting lucky, number one, I could have said, no, I'm not prepared, right? So it took courage to do that. But number two, also, I was staying in the gym and training, so I was prepared for the opportunity that came my way, you know?
Sure.
So it took...
You always have to be in the right place.
Yes, it took preparation, number one. Was I prepared for that moment? And number two, did I have enough courage to say yes to the moment? You know what I mean? Because some people don't. But I was more curious than I was afraid about, am I really the best in the world? And I think that's my second biggest superpower is I'm so insanely curious about how great I can be versus afraid to lose. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that's more people should probably dive into that, to be like, wouldn't it really suck if you never find out who you could be? That would be a terrible shame. And I think that scared me more than not trying at all. That always scared me more. So I went to Japan, and I literally fought my heroes. I won first round, second round, third round, and I made it to the very finals. But I got disqualified from the tournament eventually in the finals. But I went undefeated in the tournament.
There you go.
I sustained an injury. I got disqualified. But when I went back to America, I was ranked like number 2 in the world or number 3 in the world.
So that's like you got your stride. You felt that way.
Yeah, I made a lot of money in a short period of time. I pretty much knew I wasn't going back to doing concrete ever again.
That's awesome.
The Japanese paid me really well, and I established myself and my name in the sport to where bigger promotions would seek me out and pay me in a way that I wouldn't have to.
So up until that point, though, there are 3 things that you said, like for me, that I want to take away from it, which is you trained hard and you were disciplined. There was no work-life balance. This is the vision.
Yeah.
You painted a vision. You stayed consistent with it, and you were at the right place at the right time to say, yes, I want to do that with curiosity and bravery. And that is what those things got you to that moment that changed the trajectory of your life. Then you became Eddie Alvarez.
Yes. And I think that was my coming out moment for fighting.
Yeah.
At that point in the U.S. At that point, UFC was around, but they were not paying nearly what I was making in Japan. And
why did the Japanese pay so good? What's that about?
At that time, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time they did. Pride just sold to the UFC Pride. At the time.
Didn't Rampage Jackson come from Pride?
He did.
Yeah.
A lot of really big, great names came from Pride. UFC bought it and assumed it. Once they sold Pride to the UFC, they started Dream.
Okay.
So it was the same people.
Yeah, same people.
They just started a new promotion.
I remember I was like in high school when Rampage Jackson came from Pride. Chuck Liddell was like the UFC guy.
Yep.
And then Rampage just like got him real quick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, well, that guy's better.
Well,
that's my hero.
That was a problem for the UFC.
Because they were so good, Pride.
Because they wanted the perception in America to be we're the number 1 organization in the world.
Yeah.
Well, they they thought they were, and they took a gamble, right? They took a gamble and took Chuck Liddell to Japan and put him in a tournament.
Right.
Well, Chuck lost.
Yeah.
Now, that's a big problem for a company who's saying they're the #1 fighting organization in the world.
Yeah.
So now that he lost, what's our next? If Chuck went there and won, they could have raised their hands in the air and went, see, told you we're the best.
Right.
But they didn't. So what did they have to do? They had to fucking buy it. That Chuck losing cost him $80 million.
Wow.
You know? So if Chuck would have just went there, one, it would probably cost a couple grand. You know? Chuck, or maybe a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Chuck lost. Now they have to buy Pride in all of its assets, the fighters.
Yeah.
Rampage, Vanderlei Silva.
Yeah.
Mark Hunt. They had to buy all their contracts out, and cost them a lot of money. But I'll be honest. At that time, if you went to a Pride event in Japan, the production was unbelievable. Your hair would stand up, and UFC was nothing compared to it. I was in the back walking out, and you would, if you're a fan of this sport and you didn't get to go to a Pride event with the battle drums and the fighter announcements, it was like nothing.
It was next level.
Yes. And UFC knew that. They knew we're not even close to this level.
Wow. What this is total side quest, but this Dana White paying the contracts of the fighters and not paying them enough, is that like real, or is that
I'm
like, do you make a lot of money as a UFC fighter? Not you personally, but just
I think it's a tough question, because every fighter navigates their career differently, right? And I don't think it's up to the boss to pay you a lot of money. I think it's up to you to negotiate what you're worth. So there's a responsibility on the athlete and a responsibility on the agency of the athlete to know the market value of that fighter and not accept the value that's less than that. Now, what a lot of these fighters are mad at is they like the contract that they signed because they're no one. They have no leverage.
Sure.
So when you enter the UFC with zero leverage, you're given an opportunity, right?
Yeah.
The boss ain't supposed to say, I really want to pay you a lot. Like, that's not how it works.
Right.
The boss is going to go, I want to give you this. You go, yes or no. You know, it's a negotiation. So you come in with no leverage. You come in there, and let's say you start winning on a big level. Winning on a big level is important, but what's even more important is that people love you and that they want to follow you. And the social media, you start to do that. If you don't manage to get that together, you're probably not going to do well making money in this sport.
And that's on the fighter to self-promote or to have a promotion company.
It's like a fighter has to fight a certain way and have a certain character. And if you're not fit for the job, then someone else, like a Conor McGregor, is going to come in and say the things that need to be said.
Yeah, or Patty now.
Yeah, or Patty, and sell the thing the way they want it to be sold.
Yeah.
And you'll get pushed back at a line. So something has to differentiate yourself when you're going to go to the top promotion in the world. You got to take a real good, long, deep look in the mirror and say, how are you different from everyone else in this roster? And what are you going to say and how are you going to behave that there's only going to be able to be one of you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's either going to be your fight style or the way you sell it, the way Conor does, or the way you fight, the way John Jones does. Like, something about you has to be so different that you're needed.
Yeah. I mean, we would teach that to employees. Like, you have to be so good that every other shop in town wants to try to poach you, and you set your terms.
Yes.
If you're that good, then you always have demand.
And I just said this because there's a podcast, people complaining about the money part. And I'm always for the fighter.
Yeah.
I've been on record. Everybody knows I'm on record for the fighter, 100%. But there's also a responsibility on you, you know? And I said to the people that were complaining about money, they're not paying. There's never going to be a union. You can forget about that. Because fighters work in their own self-interest. They don't work for the greater good of a union. That's never going to happen.
Right.
Ever. I went over this. How could it possibly change?
Sean Strickland seems like he could be a union guy.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
But where I was getting at was I basically told the guys, look, the money's at the top. If you want to get to the money, get to the top.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to be like black and white about it, but in every single social setting in the world, all the money, all the women, all the everything goes to the top people, and everyone else fights to get there.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes in the animal kingdom, and you name what you're in, the jobs, corporate America, the guys at the top eat, and the people at the bottom, you know, get the scraps, and then you get sick of the scraps at a certain point, and take to the where risk. You find a ruthless way or be courageous to take a risk and get to the top.
Right.
So if you don't like your position and you don't like that you're broke, get to the top, because that's where the money's at.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and figure out how to get there.
And that's risk, discipline, imagination, courage, curiosity. Those are all bombs. Big
character traits of getting there.
So can I ask you about Conor and the fight?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So that was obviously one of those fights that, like, for you, maybe the world like stops, like Conor McGregor and Eddie Alvarez.
Yep.
Is that one of the things that, like, was that like a learning moment for you, or was that like a moment, or was that like a?
I always try to like take away positive of everything, and it's like I leave the arena. I cried from New York all the way to Philadelphia. I was in a van, and I cried as if like I was a little kid whose like dog died. It was because I'm a competitor and an athlete first, and I don't even care about winning. I just hate losing, right? It's very painful for me to lose, especially in a way like I know that wasn't the representation of myself that I know. That wasn't the best representation of myself, and there's nothing I can do about it, and the whole world
saw it.
It's like a tattoo on your chest forever.
Yeah. And
it's not like I get a second chance. Like, it's over. That happened, and digesting it was very difficult, like very, very difficult. Like, even though I know loss is important, even though I know it's a part of growth, even though I knew all these things, when that happened on that night, it was just like very difficult for me. Like,
was it difficult because you made a mistake, or because he was the better fighter that night?
He was for sure the better fighter that night. The difficulty is, and it's the only thing that I kind of fear before I go out there. I never fear the guy or fear getting injured. I kind of make peace with that before I go fight. I always fear, like, there's an uncertainty in fighting that can't be controlled. That's the beauty of it, and it's the reason why people are drawn to it.
Sure.
There's like, it's like
unpredictable.
It's like a present. You open it up, you don't know what it is. And so there's a part of fighting that's like that. No matter how good someone is, or no matter what goes on, there's this degree of uncertainty. And that's my biggest fear, is that a fight could happen like that, and I don't get to represent who I am to the world. So every single stage I ever went on, I didn't care about the result so much as when I go back and watch the tape, did I represent myself to the world? Was that who I would want, what people think who Eddie Alvarez is?
Sure.
You know? And that could mean I get my ass whooped and I'm resilient and I bounce back and I fight through it. I might be beaten. That's okay. All right, I lost the fight. But did I represent myself the best? And I didn't. I don't even feel like I got into the fight to be able to do that. So it was poor. People even thought I threw the fight because they're like, that's not an Eddie Alvarez fight. You know?
Sure.
And I just retained it. I'm like, yeah, I did. I made so much money that night.
Meanwhile, crying in the van.
Yeah. I'm like, and then people are like, man, I lost $100. I'm like, dude, you're $100. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
Like if I beat him and got a rematch, I was about to get 10, 15 million. You know?
Yeah.
Sorry about your $100. You know?
So behind the scenes, do you guys like call each other? Like, does Conor say like, "Hey, great fight"? Thanks so much?
I'm great with Conor.
You are.
Yeah, Conor. Connor's owns part of the bare-knuckle as well.
Oh, okay.
And we do a lot of stuff in Philly. I'm cool with Conor. I'm actually probably more cordial with his coaches, like Owen Roddy, and like than I am him. I talk to them more.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, in general, after a fight, like, you have you know, Connor's obviously a character,
Yeah.
right? So it's horrible to watch these guys, you know, when you're on the mics and everybody's got their sunglasses and you're talking about each other's wives and this and that.
Yeah.
And then after the fight's over, do you call and go like, hey, that was great, thanks so much, let's do it again? Or
We don't have each other's number to call, or
I'm saying just fighters in general.
Yeah, but I have been like after me and Justin Gaethje fought, we were wheeling ourselves in the hospital together, talking all the way to the CT scans. Hey man, that was incredible. Hope you're good. I still talk with Justin. Call him up.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about like contract stuff or money stuff or how's everything going. But guys I fought, yeah, I'm cordial and fine. It's never anything personal for me. In fact, like I have a greater respect if you're on the same journey I am. Like fighting is a very difficult life. And if someone else chose to do this and really loves it and is not in it for like the money and the women and all the other things that are attached to it, they sincerely love the fight. When I meet people like that, I have like such a profound and great respect for them because I know how difficult a life it is.
I want to paint one moment for you that a lot of people in the vans go through. And I think it's analogous to like you getting into the ring. So the picture is you wake up, you're on a commission sales guy selling HVAC, plumbing, electric, or roofing. You get into the van, you're tired, your wife's like, we want to go on this vacation. And so you're in your van, you see the house, and you're like, I got to get that sale. And I'm on commission. If I get it, we're going to eat. And if I don't get it, I got to go knock on the next door and the next door and the next door till I get it. Maybe I come back with nothing today. And that feeling of uncertainty, that feeling of like I have responsibility and I don't know what the outcome is here, is something that I'm sure the moment walking up to the cage you feel, or maybe not. And I was just curious, what is it like to train like this in this amazing gym, or your gym, and then the steps leading up to the octagon?
And just not know.
Yeah. Are you walking up going like, wow, man, I hope this works? Or are you like, man, he's in better shape than I thought? Or
that's
what
why,
is it?
But that's why it's a gift, right? Like the best way I can describe it is you're a 3-year-old kid. You come down for presents. Yeah. Your mom and dad didn't wrap anything, and they're just like, there's Christmas. You're like, that was kind of short lived, right? Yeah. The coolest thing is that they're wrapped up and you don't know what it is. You know what I mean? You're not quite sure. If everything was certain, then the wins and losses wouldn't matter. If you won every time, right? Or if you won every time, then it's like, okay, you know, it makes it exciting and fun, and the journey's so cool because you're just not that sure and you're uncertain. And not only do you have to embrace it, you actually have to get excited about it. I would say I'd be more apt to get excited about the uncertainty than be afraid of it.
So walking up into the octagon, the mindset is, I'm just excited to be here?
No, for me personally,
personally,
is that I'm going to control this entire uncontrollable situation. And that's all I'm saying. I'm the boss, and I'm going to control this complete chaos thing that's uncontrollable. And that's the fun part of fighting, because when you execute like on a stage at a high level and you knock another guy out or you submit another guy like that, there's not a better feeling in the world. And I don't hold on to the fear of what will happen to me. Yeah. I hold on to like, how awesome would it be if I executed at a high level? Yes. And I think it's just a shift in focus. There's people who walk up to that door or walk out of that van, and their whole focus is fear based. It's, what if I don't get it? And what but you can shift that completely. You can shift your perspective and go, but how awesome would it be if you did? You know what I mean? Yeah. You can hold on to that. So what game do you want to play? You know, I'd rather play a game that's winnable, that feels a little better as I'm playing it, you know? Yeah.
One of the things I like about you, and specifically the Underground King in your gym, the Underground Kings, which is a great facility. If you're in PA, come on for. Do you do drop-ins?
Thank you. Yeah,
come in for it. It's great. I just did a class, which is why I'm red and got choked pretty hard by his coach, but a Darce choke. It was great. Is that your title is the Underground King? Yeah. Which means that there's always a grind. Like you're always on the coming up.
Yeah.
When you get too fat, it's not like you're like the, you know, the king.
Yeah.
You're the underground king. Is that like is that something you've internalized? Was that just branding? What does that mean to you?
I think fans gave me that because there was something called an underground forum back in the day.
I don't know. Yeah.
And the underground forum was where fans went to talk about fighting, UFC, all that. So it became an awesome forum to go on to talk about last weekend's fights. What do you think about them? Oh, this guy, that guy. Fans would just go on there. And I was never a company guy or never with the UFC. Ever. I was with every promotion. I traveled internationally and I became champion of every single promotion I ever fought for, except for the UFC. So fans gave me the name, the Underground King. That Eddie actually, if he ever went to the UFC, we think he would end up being the champion. He just hasn't signed with the man.
Sure.
You know? And so when I went there, I felt it was my obligation and my fans and the people believed in me. All right, they named me this, they put me here, and they believe in me, and now it's you line the pins up. Now it's time for me to perform.
Yeah.
You know, and I think within all of us, there's a greatness inside all of us, and I tell my kids this. It just takes the right amount of courage and risk and hard work to kind of see it through, you know?
Yeah.
Like you'll see the king you could be. It's just, you know, there's a certain requirement or duty that needs to happen before it actually manifests itself.
I'm gonna tell you something, Eddie. I met you at Lance's Build to Solid conference. I think you were the last speaker. You had speakers on there like Tom Brady and the Savannah Bananas guy and a bunch of other people, right? I think how raw and real you are, and like you are the underground king. Like I looked at you and I was like, dude, what an approachable guy with a very unique outlook on life. Because you're not like a dumb fighter. You're like a very, you know, I don't mean that in a negative way, you know.
I get it.
You have like a very unique creative perspective on life that is like inspiring. And I'm glad that you were open to doing this.
Yeah, I'm not just a fighter. Like fighting's just what I do, right?
Yeah.
It's not who I am. Like I pride myself on being a good father, a good husband, and like I sincerely value the things in my life that are valuable, right? And fighting's awesome, but I'm older now, and I'm like, it was valuable to me when I was a young kid, and it helped me become a better person. I know what it did for me, right? But it's more important that I'm a good dad and a good husband. Like winning a belt's cool and awesome, like when you're younger. Yeah. But like as you get older, you're like, okay, you know, what's really valuable in my life? And it's like, that's what brought me here to this gym. What's valuable is that like that I can lead, and that I was given so much, and in my life I'm really abundant now, and that it's my obligation to kind of give it back. If I keep all this in me, like all my stories, all my my fears, my anxieties, how I got over them, and not share them with people and help their suffering be better in a way that it would be selfish, but also I'd feel like I would self-implode. I don't know what I would do. What else am I going to do? So I felt like it's my job now to give it back.
I mean, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You did it for me. I think I want to help you do it for thousands of other people.
Yeah, and it's been my joy. I've had more joy coaching and leading and teaching and knowing that, like, I say this in fighting. Fighting, you're going to suffer, right? The best fighters know how to suffer the best. Like, and at the elite level, they suffer with a smile.
Sure.
Right? So, like...
I like that.
Look, I have my kids teaching my kids like throughout wrestling and high school wrestling. I cut weight with them. I'm in a sauna with them. We're in the hot tubs together. And I felt like as a father, my only job was to teach my boys how to suffer properly. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to just be like, oh, this sucks. But then there's a next level to that.
What is the next level?
The next level is knowing, like kind of you're over top of yourself. You're watching yourself suffer, and you're singing and dancing and smiling because you understand. Like, there's a line I read when I was younger: "Is the suffering is our sole origin of consciousness. We're most alive when we suffer." and it was from Dean Karnassus, the ultra marathoner, and it changed my perspective on like all of my training and all the hard things I had to do in my life. Because I always was like, man, why is everything worthwhile so difficult? Like, is everything so difficult? Because I see people who look like they're on easy street, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of cruising. But suffering is our sole origin of consciousness. We're most alive when we suffer. And that hit me, and I was like, you know what? It made me view suffering in a different way, almost where I can enjoy it, because I knew that was where I should be at.
You know, those boys from Dagestan, they seem to like suffering.
Yeah. Is that
as real as
it's connected with it?
Yeah,
you know
it's connected with it.
Your ability to delay gratification and suffer more than other people. I mean, it has like a direct correlation to the success you're going to end up having.
Yeah,
I think delayed gratification is really important. Your ability to suffer properly and just sacrificing each.
Do you want your kids to do this, to fight?
I don't want my kids to fight. They know that.
They know that.
My one don't give a he's going to fight.
Eddie Jr.?
No.
Okay.
No.
A different one.
I said I did such a good job. Like, I did such a good job, like, selling and convincing my kids that fighting's a bad idea, except for one of my kids. And I'm like, he's probably the most like me.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
So he's going to do it. And would you coach him?
Alfie, yeah. Alfie, yeah. He is a fighter.
Oh, he's a fighter. Okay.
No, he is. That's what he is. Like, everything about him is a fighter. His character, his everything. He loves to fight, and I don't know if anybody will know how to suffer properly more than him, with a complete smile.
Interesting. What is the difference between being the fighter and like coaching somebody who's fighting?
So me on the coach end?
Yeah, you on the coach end.
So here's the difference.
Yeah.
Someone who's fighting is relying on an instinctual part of their brain, right? They can't be cerebral, because if they're thinking, they're not processing fast enough, right? When I send my fighter in, I tell them, I don't need you to think now, that's over with. Like, during training, we need that, right? But when you're going to go fight, I need you to be out of your mind. Meaning, you're not in your mind. Now you're in your body, and it's all instinct. Let me be cerebral. Let me be your brain. So we communicate every day here, codes, every day, codes. Now, when they get on that line, they're complete instincts. And now there's dead spaces in a fight where both guys are in front of each other, and maybe I don't have an approach or an idea that I can come up with. I fill in the dead spaces.
Got it.
I'm not being a fighter for you. I'm being a brain who can think cognitively and see things that maybe you can't see because you're processing so fast.
What are the qualities of a fighter that you would want as a coach?
The biggest thing I look out for is it has nothing to do with winning.
What is it?
I want to see you get up and see how you deal with it. I want to see how sick you can be. Yeah. I want to see you get up and be in terrible spots, and I want to see you not be phased one bit by it. And when I see that from only certain people have it, it's a rare thing.
Yeah.
Most people are discouraged by doing bad. There's a rare breed that get excited when they're in a bad spot about the opportunity to get out of it and be in a good spot.
I'll tell you a funny story about that. So this is 100% right. I was training a little bit in Colorado. I went to this gym, and I had started doing jiu-jitsu, and I really liked it. And I was like, oh, this is like good. Maybe I'm going to try my hand at it, but do a couple smoker fights. I went to this gym, a little sparring match. I got kicked in the head. And then immediately I was like, nah, I don't want this. This is not for me. I changed my mind.
You're like, I am not a fighter.
Yeah, I'm not a fighter. Like, in that moment, I was like, I'm a dad of 4, like I'm going to and you're right. It's like, but there were some people in the gym who just like loved it. They'd come, they'd bleed, they'd sweat, and then they'd just come back and just like, you have blood on the mat, so I know.
Yeah.
I'm talking to somebody like that.
Yeah.
You like it.
Yeah. I think the opportunity, like there's certain people, so there's athletes and athletes, I call them athletes. There's athletes within the UFC, you know, that they are unique, they're powerful, and they know how to go out there and win fights at a big level. But some of them you never even seen in a bad spot. And I'm like, all I care about is seeing them in a bad spot. Like how are you going to go back to the stool, breathe through that, overcome that adversity, and stay positive? It's when I know one of my guys is going against an athlete, I mean, my biggest thing I'm saying to them is, look, as long as you don't quit, there's a good chance he will before you.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one thing to fight a guy, and let's say you're trying to win the fight, but he's enjoying the fight. And that's a f***ing problem for people, right?
What fighters are like that?
My son is.
Your son. Okay.
And that's going to be a problem for people, you know?
Yeah.
I was like that. Like, you were trying to win. I wanted to hurt you badly, and I was really enjoying the fight.
Is John Jones like that? I hear like that's...
John is an incredible, unique athlete and body. He has an 80-something inch reach. His body is almost like a cheat code for fighting.
He's like the Michael Phelps. Like it was made for it.
It's not even fair to have that long of a reach and being able to like be him. His brothers are the same. They're just specimens, you know?
Yeah.
But John has showed resilience in the cage where he was losing and bounced back. He's kind of the total package.
It's interesting that you say that. The way that I've heard about describing your partner is don't partner with somebody like your wife who you can go on vacation with. Partner with somebody who you can suffer with.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the fighter. You look not for the wins, but how do you get up after you lose? The resilience of that.
Yeah, because I can teach you the techniques to win. You know, I mean, there's certain things I'm going to be able to show you a good portion of it. But like at the top, the very top, the margin for error is so small that like there's some unique qualities that if you have them and they can't be taught, that could probably separate the entire fight.
Really?
You know, because you're going to get up at the top. That's a for sure 100%. You're not going to have a flawless victory.
Yeah.
You're going to get up, and when that moment comes, how are you going to deal with it? Because the moment's coming. It's coming, you know, and you make peace with it, but you also need to be prepared for it. Like when it comes, I've taught fighters in here, when that moment comes and you didn't think that through, you know, and it's the first time it ever happened to you. I've seen people see their own blood and they freak out.
Really?
And it's like, you're in fighting. You didn't think this was going to happen? These kids, like some of the kids are young, you know, they see their blood for the first time and they're like, oh my God, I'm bleeding. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
What the did you think was going to happen? Right? So like, with my guys, we almost create anchors, right? When these things happen, and they will happen, we're going to take a deep breath, and this is the language we're going to use to ourselves when it happens to get us through it, to kind of get us to off the stool and to the next round, and then get into a good spot where he'll do it. If you don't slow things down and have anchors to go to when things are really bad, like be prepared for that moment of terror.
Yeah.
You'll more than likely, if you don't have a plan for that,
right,
you'll quit. You will quit. So like sometimes especially when you get to the top, a part of your practice is going to be, how am I preparing for terrible moments? You know, because it's great to visualize and think everything's going to go great. But when war is ugly, right, and bad things happen to the greatest people in war. So it's like when them moments come, what most of the time can separate the best guys is, how am I going to breathe through this terrible moment?
So if you had to give some advice to somebody up and coming, either in fighting or in business, what are the 3 Eddie Alvarez, the underground king,
I would
pieces
say,
of advice?
Like I just said, terrible moments, like when they happen, you have to have a plan for them, and they will happen. I think breathing through them. And I think I've done this in fights where I knew I was going to be somewhere bad. I knew I was kind of outgunned in certain spots.
Yeah.
And I knew I'd be in a bad spot. So I visualized myself there, and I told myself, there's no good or bad situations. There's just situations. Breathe your way through it, right? Get yourself back to the stool, and then put yourself back in a good spot. Like, if you view where you're at so bad and so terrifying, whatever, eventually you'll kind of sell yourself to be like, all right, I'm out. But you can just say there's no good and bad situations. Like, the entire journey is up, down, sideways. So they're just situations. You can view them however you want, you know?
That's something that I'm like hyper aware of over the last hour or so that we've been talking, which is you have this vision, and anything that stands between you and the vision is just the road to get to the vision.
Amen.
That's what you've been saying this entire time.
Yeah.
That's a very unique perspective, because for some people during suffering, the vision might change. But for you, the vision is so clear with
And
that vision.
so awesome.
And so clear and so awesome
that I gotta have it.
You gotta have it. That is really cool. All right. Eddie Alvarez, thank you so much for doing this.
Hell yeah.
I hope we do a lot more things together. I just have one last question for you, which is, what in your life as a fighter has impacted a positive impact on being Eddie Alvarez, a dad? What's something that you learned from your fighting career that's made you a better father or husband?
From what a loaded question. So something I learned from fighting that allowed me to be a better father or husband. I would say, I think there are dads that don't understand. I think there are dads, like sport dads, right? I see wrestling dads out there that kind of push their kids to a level that like they don't even expect of themselves, and it's sad for me. That's sad for me as a dad to watch. That a dad that lacks empathy toward their own boy or children. And I think what fighting did for me, I've been in such bad spots where, like, I guess the fans, like my expectations of fans and things like that disappointed me in a way. Like the outside world of how they thought about me losing was disappointing, right? I'm like, damn, I wish people could understand what I went through, how much I worked. But I lowered my expectations of what the fans and crowd think of me. Yeah. So I wasn't so disappointed after a while, right? But I think what fighting did for me was it gave me so much humility, but it gave me a lot of empathy and compassion to my kids. So when my kids compete, they're able to compete free of my judgment, and there's zero, nothing happens to the relationship with my kids based on the result of a sporting event or anything like that. I'm happy that my kids have the courage to compete. Yeah. And if they want to be really good at it, they will. I won't judge them. I won't hang down their neck. I won't tell them they should have did this or should have did that. I will be there. I will cheer them on, and I will help them if they ask me for my help. But I'm not going to force them to be something that I didn't be. Sure. And I'm sad that dads do that. And I think most dads, if they actually competed at a high level, they would have more empathy toward their sons. Yeah. And do it better.
You know, I could confidently say that I think the world is a better place because you have Eddie Alvarez in it. You are an inspiration to millions of people, including me. You're very humble. And what we've talked about here, painting a vision so big and so powerful that you can't live without it, I think will positively impact millions of entrepreneurs.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks. So I want to use the practice. I heard him, and I'm not getting excited.
All right, so the single leg, if he's got it. I got the wizard here.
Heavy on the wizard. Yeah. Just stay heavy on that wizard. Yeah. He does a mistake, puts his hands in front, boom, and then your out is right there. Boom.
to pin his shoulders down. So, because if I'm here, my weight is on the floor. Look how he's trying to get up.
I think I blacked out. That was nuts.
Okay, palm to palm. Pushes it down. You're here. He gets up. I'm here. Boom. All right, well, you know what?
That's the right tune. What's up, babe? Oh, we gotta stretch it out for this. How are you? Let's do it, man. There we go. Hi, I'm Joe Gatto.